Well, it definitely took a while, but now it's finally here! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ultimate Tomek HD Questions and Answers video. After 2 years of gathering questions, I finally gathered up the 15 minimum amount of questions which are needed for the most optimal video length. So, yeah, I'm not going to answer these questions in order of receiving them. I'm going to shuffle them up a bit to make things exciting, so yeah, let's finally get started. But before we do, a huge shout out to my ex who really helped out with the last few questions to finally get this video rolling. So I'll link her Instagram in the description so you can check it out for yourself, if you want to, that is. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, let's start with the first question that I've received, which is actually more of a request than a question, but might as well do it. And it's from Jarza, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Make a merch store, please. Well, if I ever get famous enough with the subscriber count or the number of views and start making decent amount of YouTube money, I might actually do that. Probably have to buy an internet domain from someone and find someone who's going to print all them t-shirts and make all them plushies of me or anything else that I've actually planned to do for merch. So I haven't actually really thought about what I actually might do for the merch store. It would definitely be t-shirts and stuff with my logos, my avatar. One of my catchphrases like flawless action. That's gonna sell like hotcakes if I really do make a t-shirt like that. Then we're rolling, slowly but rolling. That kind of text on the t-shirt. And the plushie thing is like the plushie of my avatar with, you know, the Sonic MC OC characters. Yeah. It would be really cool if I could like get a huge amount of 3-inch Jazzwares shadow figures so I can like customize them to look like my avatar and then sell them. That's gonna be like really expensive, so I better have a lot of money ready for that if I ever plan to do merchandise like that. So yeah, hope that's the answer you wanted to hear. Let's move on to the next question. Let's see, the next question is from a very loyal fan of mine who actually started following me since the Heroes of Might and Magic Sylvan campaign parts of the Let's Play. Are you going to play Heroes of Might and Magic 1, 2, 3, and 4? And that's an interesting question. Well, if there is enough support for it, I might as well consider playing them. However, the only one from these that I have played somewhat is the third one, and I think it was alright, nothing too special, but Heroes of Might and Magic 5 trilogy expansions are some of the best stuff I've ever played in my life, and it's really going to be difficult to see how any of these titles come close to being as qualityful, new word there, maybe, as the Heroes of Might and Magic 5 trilogy expansions. I know that my uncle has like a huge like collection bundle from Heroes 1 through 5, and if I really get enough requests for it to let's play those, I might actually ask him to borrow it, to lend it to me for a couple of months in order to finish them all and then feature them all on the channel, and yeah, exactly how that works. So yeah, huge RPG enthusiast, can't go wrong with a few Heroes of Might and Magic games while I'm at it, so yeah, I might consider it. Since I'm taking a bit of a longer break from Let's Plays, I might do those games off screen for the time, but we'll see. There's a game that I'll mention soon that takes up a much bigger priority over this. Anyway, let's go on to the next question, that being from actually a friend of mine And the question says, when are you going to do a face reveal on your channel? So yeah, I actually thought about that as well, and I said 1,000 subscribers, and I'm actually doing basically killing two birds with one stone. I'm doing a thank you video for every 100 subscribers that I do. I've done 2 of them so far, yay! And then I'm going to also do it with a face reveal, because like I said in many of my thank you videos for entering a new year, or the thank you videos for a certain amount of subscribers, I consider the number 1,000 for my subscribers to be like the perfect amount to do that sort of thing, and I consider 1,000 to be like a number where I wouldn't care anymore how much subscribers would I get. Because when you have 1,000 subscribers, you're basically a fairly big YouTuber as it is. I might be over-exaggerating a bit, but that's at least how I feel. You know, like I said, I started doing YouTube because I wanted to make an expression for myself and wanted to make people laugh and smile and enjoy my content overall. So it'll be really, really cool. It is really cool. It's really bananas how I managed to gather up 266 subscribers already in these 3 years of me doing stuff what I like doing best and sharing my best experiences with the stuff I'm doing on screen, giving you useful advice when it comes to Let's Plays, sharing my honest opinions when I review some archetypes on archetype analysis, or maybe top 10 list. I really love doing those. I really should be making more of those. Gotta get my ass in order. So it's really going to be good and great when I finally hit that milestone of 1,000 subscribers, and I'm actually really going to reward you for this with a proper face reveal. I'm actually going to do some. Well, I'm still that part of the idea is still on the drawing board. It's still in very rough development, as the game developers would say, and it's still, like I said, in rough development. Nothing is for sure as to be said. Alright, so that was question number 3. Let's go on to the next question. That being, do you have any more Mortal Kombat games than this? And yeah, I only have these 2 games, Mortal Kombat Armageddon and Mortal Kombat X, and I do not plan on getting those. That also actually segues into the next question, that being, do you have Mortal Kombat 11? And I don't plan on getting it for the next 10 years approximately. I know I'm over exaggerating, but there is one freaking game that takes over priority over anything I ever plan on getting and playing game related, and that's Sword Art Online Alicization Licorice. That game, holy shit, it's going to be good. I just know it in my bones and heart and soul that it's going to be good. The trailer is so promising, the graphics are top notch, and as I've read on the many forums, it's actually going to follow the events of the anime, so it's not going to be like in the gaming continuity where it's like the game has different storyline than the anime. Like, it branches from the Heathcliff fight from the 75th floor, and then the anime takes one direction and then the games take the other direction. So it's going to be a straight up adaptation of the Season 3 Alicization, Project Alicization, so I'm really excited to see it. Like I said, the graphics are incredible. The story from Season 3 is also a top-notch, super polished anime arc that I've seen so far, and the only question really I have is how is it going to compare to Hollow Realization? That game is yeah, I'll get more into that, but that game was such a masterpiece of design, and both in the RPG genre and the gaming genre in general, that I really I am excited to see how it will compare to that game. Will it top it? Will it at least come very, very close? Will it be equally good as that game? It also excites me and worries me at the same time to think about it, because I do not want to see games such as Sonic 06 where it's rushed, unpolished, and unfinished, and instead I want to see a real masterpiece like Hollow Realization. You know, you don't even have to really top it. You could actually come very close and I would be perfectly happy. But I would really love to see someone try to top that masterpiece. I really would. Alright, so that was that question, and moving on to the next question is, what is your favorite Mortal Kombat game? And it should be pretty freaking obvious at this point, if you watched my Armageddon Let's Play, that Mortal Kombat X is eons better than that game, and thus being my favorite Mortal Kombat game. Armageddon can die in, well, an Armageddon, in hell, in Satan's full wrath. I never want to see that game ever again. So yeah, Mortal Kombat X is my favorite game, even though I only played a grand total of 2 Mortal Kombats in my entire life. Those being both of the ones I featured on the channel. And yeah, like I said in the previous question, I do not plan on getting Mortal Kombat 11 anytime soon at all. Alright, let's go on to the next question. That is, do you know the anime called Lil Busters? Nope, I do not know. This is the first time I've actually heard of said name. Maybe if you said it with the original Japanese title, maybe I might have tried to figure out what that is, but like this, I don't think so. It doesn't ring any bells at all. I'll look it up probably after this video is uploaded, but probably I don't expect that much from it, so as a spoiler warning. Next up we have the question which also segues from the previous question, and that is, do you have any other anime series did you already watch? So I'm assuming that this question means, what animes have you watched so far? Alright, buckle up, because it's going to be a pretty long ride. I've watched 56 of them so far, and here are they, in order. Well, not in any particular order, but let's go. Sword Art Online, High School DxD, Gaku Sentoshi Asterisk, Rokudai Kishi no Cavalry, Cross Ange, No Game No Life, Onigiri, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns, 100, Musagen no Phantom World, Akane Iro Misomaru Saka, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Sonic X, Getsuyubi no Tawawa, Bakugan, Bakugan New Vestroya, Bakugan Gandalian Invaders, Shinmai Mao, No Testament, Tsuru Children, Shimoneta, Sword Art Online Alternative GGO, Eromanga Sensei, Trinity 7, High School of the Dead, this piece of crap known as School Days, Date Alive, Kill la Kill, Rosario Vampire, Oda Nobuna no Yabo, Taimado Gakumen 35 Shiken Shotai, Infinite Stratos, Mayoi Neko Overrun, Akamega Kill, Darling in the Franxx, Boku wa Tomodachi ga Sukunai, Axel World, My Sister My Rider, Gurren Lagann, One Room, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, Overlord, then ReZero, Kore wa Zombie desu ka, Fairy Tail, Prison School, Monster Musume, Konosuba, Gamers, and Rising of the Shield Hero very recently. And I've also watched several hentais fully, of course. And I would list them as well, but I don't usually keep track of the hentais I've watched. So, but I know that I've approximately watched around 20 hentais, so yeah. Just to name a few favorites of mine: Kanojo, 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 Kimi Hagu, and what else? What else did I watch that was very good? Dark Rose was actually, yeah, that was mediocre, but still enough to be considered okayish. And well, there are much more of them, but remembering them is a much bigger chore than remembering these ones that I've just listed. So yeah, I'll probably post some of them in description if I have the time for it. Alright, so that was that question. Next up we have another question, is what is your favorite thing about HOMM 5? Well, actually, the whole game, the whole package, the whole 3 packets of the game, the whole expansion. Well, alright, to be fair, as much as I love the game, there certainly seems to be some things that you really enjoy besides the whole experience. Well, the story is very good, very entertaining. The animation and the graphics for especially for the time, so the games were released in between 2005 and 2007 or 8, I don't know the end year properly. So yeah, the graphics, at least for the time, were phenomenal. Some say it might be a bit too cartoonish, but I don't dislike it. I am digging the style of the graphics of those games for the time. And the music, oh my god, the music is some of the best I've heard. I'm always having 5-hour debates with myself, again, exaggerating once again, if the Metroid Prime series, well, the Metroid series in general, the Zelda series, or the Heroes of Might and Magic 5 series are the king of the ambiental music. And I really can't make up my goddamn mind. All of them have very decent, what am I saying, very incredible music pieces, like the HOMM 5 and Zelda really nail it with the orchestral musical tracks, and overall getting you into the mood to play the game and to enjoy it, like you're really there, immersed into all of that action and those fierce battles that take place when some of those more edgy and action-based themes are playing, and those that simply play when you're exploring the map, like the terrain grass from HOMM 5, the character themes that play when you're exploring the map, depending on the character, of course. My favorite being the Raylax theme, Zahir's theme, both versions from the Hammers of Fate and the original, and the version from Tribes of the East. They're all so beautiful and really immersing to listen to. Anthony Romero really did a really great job in composing all of these pieces for all 3 games. I really salute him for the Heroes of Might and Magic 5 is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, and most of my musical preferences come from various different soundtracks, being the games, animes, and even some nightcores as well. So yeah. Oh, and Metroid really digs it in the various. Well, it can be a bit in some very good orchestral pieces, but most of the time it's very techno and 16-bit music and 8-bit if we're talking about the very first Metroid Prime. Even those low-quality, and massive quotes here, songs really dig it in terms of orchestral greatness and musical ambiental greatness, I should say. Same goes for Zelda. Everything I said about HOMM 5 applies to Zelda as well. So yeah, the music is definitely one of my favorite things about HOMM 5. And characterization for some of the characters, yeah, the character designs are also very good and pleasing to look at in the entire HOMM series. Every character gets a certain amount of attention thrown his way, so the story doesn't get stale with just focusing on several boring and, well, not boring per se, but several samey characters over and over again. That's why I like the campaign system, like shifting to other characters' perspective of the story, and that's the thing I like about the Sonic Adventure games as well. You don't necessarily play the game as only one character, and it gets really very monotonous as well, but you also get to experience the other character's story perspective, and that's why I really applaud it. And then, like, in the final campaign, all the characters like meet up, and then shit gets real as the story comes to a close with an epic final fight against Sovereign in the first game, against King Tolgar in the Hammers of Fate expansion, and then finally against Biara again in the Tribes of the East expansion. Really, I can go on and on, but I was skimming off topic. So yeah, roughly said, there are a lot of things about that I consider favorites about HOMM 5, but music and characterization and story definitely stick out as some of the best experience I've ever had with the game. Alright, next up we have this question. Any retro games do you enjoy? Well, this is actually... I mean, I do not play that many of them. Well, the most recent one I've played was Sonic Mania. I also played it on the channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. And retro games have a tendency to be hard. I know that. It's part of what makes retro games, retro. Some of them can be a bit too bullshit hard, like some Castlevania games, such as Castlevania 3 can be a bit too bullshit hard for its own good. But a lot of retro games have that it's fair hard. Fair hard. Are you hearing me, Mortal Kombat Armageddon? Feel to it. Like, you can... It is hard, but if you, like, die or fail a mission, it's most likely your fault for failing said mission. It's not the game's fault because of, you know, wonky controls or anything like getting in your way of your progression towards the end of the game. It's most likely that you didn't time your jump right, or maybe didn't time that hit right. Maybe you didn't anticipate an enemy spawning right in front of you or giving you a knockback. It's like classic Castlevania sense of retro style with the trial and error. And yeah, that's the type of things that make retro games memorable. Like I said, I have not played much of them. The only quote-unquote retro games I've played are Sonic Mania. I briefly played Sonic 1, I still haven't finished it as a whole. But I did finish Super Metroid, Metroid Zero Mission, and well, basically any 2D Metroid game which is considered retro. Well, AM2R is actually the most recently released out of all of them, and I would say actually that my favorite is the Metroid Zero Mission out of all of them I played, and Metroid Fusion coming incredibly close to it. Metroid Fusion is actually, if you really want to get into those hard-ish retro games, gameplay styles, I would actually recommend Metroid Fusion because it's a bit harder than the rest of them because of the story consistency. Like, I'm not going to retell the story, but you actually take quite a decent amount of damage when you start the game, and as you get more equipment and everything, some bosses are also very, very tricky to fight, and some of them can be even a bane of your existence on your first try. But with enough trial and error, you quickly find the solutions to many of the puzzles the bosses might throw your way. Yeah, Zelda is also a very good. The early Zelda is very good gaming franchise to get you into the retro games feel. I have not played any other Zelda games except Twilight Princess, so I could be wrong in some things, but I've watched plenty of gameplay playthroughs and reviews to know at least partially what I'm talking about. I know how some games feel better than the others, like Zelda 1 and 2. Like, Zelda 1 was okay, somewhat difficult, but you needed a guide to properly play it and enjoy it. Then the Zelda 2 was a bit too hard for its own good, like kind of like Mega Man 1 and Mario the Lost Levels. But yeah, Mario the Lost Levels falls into the bullshit hard territory, not the fun hard like, say, I don't know, Zelda 1 or Castlevania 1 or anything like that. So yeah, all the games I've played are mostly Metroid games in terms of retro games. If you want to count in Solitaire and Tetris, go right ahead, but I really don't count them as, well, maybe Tetris, but definitely not Solitaire. So yeah, I would say my favorite out of all of them, yeah, it's most definitely Zero Mission, with Fusion coming incredibly close. So yeah, that's that. And next up we have a question. Apart from gaming, what are your hobbies? Yes, apart from gaming, I like, well, I'm an otaku. What did you expect? I really like watching anime, and as my about section on the channel says, I enjoy hentai too. Like Samuel L. Jackson, am I right? Anyway, yeah, I really love watching anime in general. I also like doing these sort of basically doing YouTube in other ways than just gaming, like doing top 10 lists, doing archetype analysis. I also am a huge Yu-Gi-Oh player as well. I very frequently, no, not that very frequently, post deck updates of what new deck am I using, if I updated my deck due to the ban list changing. New ban list is about to come out very soon. I can't wait for it to see if they finally unban Firewall Dragon or Summon Sorceress. Can't wait. So yeah, I like really playing Yu-Gi-Oh with some of my buddies when I have them over. I usually win. I think I only lost like once in my entire career, as you could say it, since I have little to nothing professional career at all regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! And I sometimes read. Besides, I do not read that much, but when I do read, it's mostly fan fictions or some very interesting comics or manga. So we have that. Then I have my cute little dog that I usually take out for a walk and play with him. Yeah, anytime that I feel like doing anything related to gaming or watching anime, I usually watch a few other YouTubers doing their own podcasts or gameplay videos or live streams. It's one of the many ways I find out about some new games that I actually could give a shot. And yeah, basically that pretty much wraps it up. So yeah, I don't like reading that much unless it's comics, mangas, or some really good fan fictions. And yeah, I also like to play any kind of board games that I could actually find when I'm pretty bored, and I like to play them. I usually it is like Monopoly or Uno if I have the time for it. And I actually kind of a suckerish luck with Uno. Usually I like lose super fast, or the game just keeps going and going and going until you like have to reshuffle your deck like 7 or 8 more times. So yeah, but Monopoly, that's actually a game I'm actually very good at. So I do not play the traditional Monopoly, like with the board games and like with the massive board and house and car figurines and everything. Because of the fact that I do not own it, I actually have a simpler version of Monopoly which consists of just cards, usually, but it pretty much functions like the regular Monopoly. You have your money, you need to pay for stuff like rents, you have your establishments which you upgrade in order to gain much more rent from the other players, and you can steal stuff like a single card or entire set of cards. It's really fun. It's called Monopoly Deal if you want to look it up. And yeah, I'd actually recommend giving it a shot because it's very unique spin on things, and if you don't have anything else to do, you can always do that. I think there's actually an online version of that. I know that there's an online version of Uno as well, so you should be able to find an online version of that Monopoly as well. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my hobbies, unless I'm missing something, which I highly doubt at this point. Pretty much went and did a 360 on it. So yeah. Anyway, let's have a next question, that being, what is your favorite manga you've read? This is actually interesting. The manga I've usually read is hentai manga, and those are doujinshi mangas, meaning they're fan-made and parody-based, basically an illustrated fan fiction, if I dare say so, with lemons. And yeah, most of them are, like I said, hentai mangas, but as for the official mangas, I haven't read that much of them. The only one I've read, like for sure, is the Rakudakishi no Cavalry manga, those being the volumes right after the anime ends and the continuation of that. I still haven't read the entire thing, but I'm pretty close to finishing it. And basically when I read, it's very infrequent, and I rarely do it. I usually do it when I really don't have anything better to do, or I just simply feel too bored to be doing anything else. So that is mostly when I read. However, actually, if you really are curious to what hentai manga I've read, well, basically parodies of any anime that I've watched so far, fully, of course, because I don't want to spoil something by accident, because that happened to me actually once or twice. But yeah, if you want recommendation, actually Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 has some decent hentai mangas as well as High School DxD. High School DxD literally never disappoints. Darling in the Franxx has actually really good hentai mangas as well. And what else? I can't seem to think of anything else as well. And maybe actually Rising of the Shield Hero has really good hentai doujins as well as Sword Art Online, although Sword Art Online has a huge amount of hentai doujins, and surprisingly enough, rarely any of them are from the recent Season 3. Surprise, surprise, I know. It is kind of disappointing for those who really want to check out some Season 3 doujins, and rarely any of them are actually translated into English. Most of them are in Japanese or Chinese, so if you really only care about those lovely works of art that are the pictures, go right ahead and just look at the Japanese or the Chinese version. But if you really want to get the story, yeah, I'd recommend waiting for the English releases of some of them. Even yeah, some of the stories can even drive some animes that I watched for their money in terms of how their stories are better than theirs. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Next up we have a question that is, what is your favorite game for the PS4? Alright, so that is an absolute no-brainer for me. It is, without a doubt, Hollow Realization, Sword Art Online, of course. That game, like I said earlier in the video, is such a goddamn masterpiece that it hurts. It hurts my lips to say it how much of a masterpiece it is. It's so great. From the moment I saw it first, right after I finished watching Sword Art Online, I immediately wanted to play it, but the thing is, it was very, very expensive. It was around, like, I'm actually gonna calculate it right now based on the, since most of my audience is the Americans, I'm gonna translate it into dollars. It was $92, which is in my currency very, very huge amount of money. So yeah, I was always like really anxious and tense when I shake like a jelly to play it all these years back. I was so impatient with it, but one day I found out that Hollow Fragment was on a huge sale and I could get it for basically nothing. Played through that, and it was a bit of bullshit hard at times, but overall a very enjoyable game. Then we had Lost Song, which was almost which was also, I also got it for pretty much nothing, which was the easiest in the series that I've played so far. And by luck, I actually managed to play them in order of their chronological release and in terms of plot. And the third one was, of course, Sword Art Online Hollow Realization, and I was like, alright, this is it. This is finally it. I'm playing this beautiful looking game and I hope it really doesn't disappoint. And boy oh boy, it certainly didn't disappoint. Well, some of the DLC missions were very, very hard at times, but overall the fair kind of hard and enjoyable kind of hard, which, well, for one boss fight I actually had to go and grind some experience points, and in turn I actually did some side missions with the skill fusions and all that. Yeah, skill fusions are actually a very unique twist on things. Some of them are very bullshit in terms of the stipulation on getting to them, but you're getting pretty hefty rewards as it is for them as well. So yeah, I'd say it's really worth it, and I'd recommend you getting them as well. So yeah, but the overall, the story of Hollow Realization is also really good. I think it's on level with Axel World vs. Sword Art Online story. They're equally good. And then Fatal Bullet is somewhat all over the place with its story, but more on that on another topic. But like I said, the gameplay is really, really good for an RPG title, and it's very enjoyable. It's very easy to pick up. It's a very comfortable journey most of the time. And you can just sit back, have a cup of cocoa or coffee or tea, whatever you prefer. You know, a bowl of cookies or your favorite snack, just sit back, enjoy, and just simply play until morning if you're one of those kinds of people. Anyway, this game is really good. I would really recommend to any RPG enthusiast to give this game a shot. You are not going to be disappointed, I assure you. If you care about the continuity, you have to play Hollow Fragment and Lost Song before it. But yeah, Lost Song is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Although Hollow Fragment might give you a drive for your money, especially with Hollow Area storyline for a bit. And yeah, I'd really recommend this game. Once again, it's so good. And like I said earlier, I am anticipating Alicization Licorice and to see how well it holds up with Hollow Realization. Will it top it? Will it be worse than it? Will it be equal to it? I don't know. Only time will tell when the game is released. I really can't wait to play it and to see how good Alicization Licorice will be. Alright, next up we have the semi-final question of this video. What is your favorite game for the Nintendo Wii? Now, unlike the last one, this is a bit of a thought provoker, as you'd say. Alright, I have actually 5 games that I consider very good for the Nintendo Wii, the best games of all time. Well, first up is Bully, then Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, No More Heroes, the first one, Metroid Prime Trilogy, or The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Now, Bully is something that I enjoy immensely more than GTA 5. Well, any GTA, especially GTA 5. GTA San Andreas I consider to be the best GTA in the entire series, even though all of them are very bad from my perspective. Yes, you can come fight me about it, I know what I said. And No More Heroes, exact same thing as I said about Bully, applies here. Very, very incredible and fun story. Gameplay style, yeah, drastically different gameplay style since we're talking about Travis touched on a sexually deprived otaku, who like me, of course, and Jimmy Hopkins, who is a 15-year-old high school kid trying to bring order to the school. And yeah, two radically different gameplay styles, but both of them are really fun. Now the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, I have very hard nostalgia pandering towards this one because this is the game that actually got me into anime and to watch the very first anime that I ever watched, being the Dragon Ball, the original one, and then following up with every single other Dragon Ball. And yeah, it's also the first fighting game I've ever played and the first anime fighting game I've ever played, and it actually is, I consider it to be the best fighter if we ignore it in terms of traditional fighters such as Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. I would prefer Skullgirls to be the better traditional fighter, but in terms of anime fighters and fighters in general, Budokai really nails it in terms of design, story, and gameplay. Well, the story is the exact same shit as all the Dragon Ball animes, but anyway, the gameplay is what matters the most, and I played it so much on the Wii that I actually memorized every single button pattern, well, not button pattern, but control and motion pattern for every single attack in the game for every character. I love it that much. Then Metroid Prime Trilogy, that's the most recent series of games that I played. Metroid Prime is most definitely my favorite game of all time, and along with several others, of course. Prime 2 is my least favorite of the three, and Prime 3 is my Prime 2, sorry, is my least favorite, and Prime 3 is my second favorite of the Metroid Prime trilogy. But as a whole, I played the first two as part of the trilogy, the Metroid Prime trilogy collection, but the third one I actually got the separate copy of it because for some reason it wouldn't work. It always caused my game to crash whenever I boot up with Metroid Prime 3. So yeah, that is pretty much about Metroid Prime 3. And Zelda, the Twilight Princess, I know, it already has bigger ratings than Skyrim on GameSpot and Metacritic. So yeah, that also applies for me. I like Legend of Zelda way more than Skyrim. That should speak for itself. I usually give games with dragons a lot more advantage and more credit than the ones that barely have it as the main focus. But Zelda Twilight Princess is so good that I would actually consider demoting Skyrim because of it. if you have a GameCube or a Nintendo Wii or Wii U, I definitely recommend you check this game out. It's so really good. And if you really want to start getting into the Zelda franchise, you start with Twilight Princess, most definitely. Or, man, Breath of the Wild is a bit better. I have not played it because I do not have a GameCube. I don't have a Nintendo Switch. But according to the Metacritic, it's the 4th best game of all time. So until I get a Switch, maybe I might consider checking it out. Kind of like it's basically, from what I've seen, a Skyrim structured Zelda game, which sounds interesting on paper. However, in execution, is it all the same? So yeah, definitely one of my favorite games for the Nintendo Wii is definitely one of these. Fire still haven't made a clear decision which game it certainly is, and I don't think that is ever going to happen. So yeah, all I can do now is speculate, like I said. Alright, so I think I pretty much went through all of these questions so far. Oh, I have one more question, and that is, do you prefer the mountains or the seaside? Now this is an interesting one. I'm usually all up for the seaside and the summer because, you know, I prefer fire than ice. And yeah, fire is basically my element. I really like when it's too hot rather than too cold. Don't get me wrong, I really love being the winter and cold and everything, but I really prefer heat and summer more. And mountains, I didn't really enjoy climbing up the mountains that much, like having a winter cottage up in the mountains and everything like that. It's just not my cup of tea. That's basically all I can say. It's something like you enjoy from very early stages of your life. You say, I'm a seaside person, or oh no, I am a mountains person. I've always been into the seaside because I really love being more, I really love when it's too hot rather than too cold. So yeah, it's something that I don't think is ever going to change because that's just simply the kind of person I am. I occasionally sometimes enjoy and think about being high up in the mountains, but not too much. I usually have like fantasies about me enjoying my time on the beach and everything like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think about that. And alright, before I move on, I also have one question from an anonymous user. I'm actually going to shuffle through all my questions to see if I missed out on any of them. I seem to have gotten all of them. Alright, so now for the final question, which I don't have a screenshot because it's from an anonymous user. And that is, why did you become a YouTuber? I actually answered this way more times than I can count, even earlier in this video. I wanted to express myself. I wanted to somewhat make a name for myself, to make people enjoy my content and to make them smile and laugh, and most of all to have fun. That's basically what the core reason for everyone wanting to become a YouTuber should be. You should always have fun and express yourself, what makes you special and unique as a person. That should always be the core focus of your striving achievements and basically what makes you you. And there isn't another you. There's only one you, and that's why you should always do the best you ever can and express yourself in any best possible ways you ever could. So yeah, that is basically what I always dreamt about. I had a friend, and well, I still do, in elementary school, who started a YouTube channel like near the end of our 8-year long, sorry, elementary school. He started a YouTube channel and is decently active today. Not much very recently, but he is still active. He has way less subscribers than I do. I never thought I'd actually get more than like 20 subscribers, but here I am with 200 and plus subscribers. I always like dreamt of becoming a YouTuber, to be like to be like YouTube buddies and making co-commentaries together on each channel and having guest appearances and everything. And like I said like a million times so far, to simply have fun and share with you what makes me unique as a person, and to share what I enjoy as a person, and just and also to connect with similar people who have similar interests and viewpoints as me, and same taste in games that I do. And I've actually accumulated a pretty cool, small, but overall really good fan base, and I'm actually glad about that. I'm actually thankful for all of you who support me here on the channel, and if you really do support me on DeviantArt, which I barely use anymore, well, thank you. It really means a lot to me, even though I am barely active on DeviantArt anymore. Might actually fix that in the future, but anyway, who knows? That is basically the answer of this question. But anyway, that is all 15 questions. Oh, actually, I think there was 16 questions when I think about it. I'll check it out. I'll count them again. I thought it was 15 at first, but then I had like 16 questions. But anyway, yeah, that is it for this questions and answers video. I had a blast doing this. I really did. I don't know when the next one is probably gonna be. It's probably gonna take way longer than this one to get out, because I'm probably gonna have to gather up questions which are supposed to be different than these, and yeah, it's gonna be a pretty long ride, but life is long, somewhat, and yeah, I'm continuing being the great YouTuber that I am, so let's continue the legacy and produce more awesome videos together, so you can watch them and comment on them, and maybe shout me out to some of your other friends so I can gain more subscribers to get me to work on some more videos and more new projects that I tend to try out on the channel. So yeah, that is it for my questions and answers video. Thank you all so much for watching. It really means a lot to me to finally be doing this video. Next video is probably going to be either a top 10 list or an archetype analysis. I'm not sure. I'm probably going to give top 10 list a bit of advantage there. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. See you all. Have a good day and peace.